Alright folks, buckle up, because South Park just dropped one of its wildest episodes in years. Season 27, Episode 3, titled Sickofancy, hit screens on August 20th, 2025, and it's already stirring up major conversations across the internet. From tech culture to ketamine use, artificial intelligence, and even a satirical take on Trump and Satan's bizarre on-again, off-again romance. This episode does what South Park does best, holding up a mirror to society while making us laugh, cringe, and think all at the same time. If you thought Randy Marsh's Tegridy Farms storylines couldn't get any crazier, well, this episode proved us all wrong. The setup starts at Tegridy Farms, where Randy's marijuana empire faces its biggest collapse yet. ICE agents storm in and shut everything down, deporting his entire Hispanic workforce. The weed business, which has been Randy's passion project, and sometimes his downfall for years, comes crashing down in spectacular fashion. Interestingly, Sharon, Randy's long-suffering wife, sees this disaster as a blessing in disguise. She hopes losing the farm will finally allow the family to live a normal life. But of course, Randy being Randy, he refuses to let go and instead looks for a new hustle, which sets the stage for the rest of this absolutely chaotic episode. Instead of listening to Sharon's practical advice, Randy does what so many do in 2025. He turns to artificial intelligence. Yup, Randy starts using ChatGPT, not just for relationship advice, but for business inspiration. The show immediately pokes fun at how people rely on AI to validate their decisions, portraying ChatGPT as a sort of digital yes man. Randy becomes obsessed with the idea of combining AI with his marijuana business, and before long, he rebrands his entire operation under a new flashy name, Techridy. This is where the satire really kicks in, skewering the hype around AI startups and tech bros who think AI is the solution to every problem. As Techridy launches, Randy ropes in none other than Towelie, everyone's favorite stoner towel. But this isn't the goofy, chilled-out Towelie we've always known. Instead, things take a much darker turn. Randy and Towelie begin microdosing on ketamine, believing it will spark creativity and innovation. The show plays this storyline both for laughs and as biting commentary on ketamine culture, a growing trend in tech and creative circles. Sharon, of course, calls out the insanity, pointing out that Randy is spiraling further into delusion, while AI just keeps encouraging him. Her remark that ChatGPT agrees with literally everything Randy wants is one of the funniest and most cutting lines of the night. The episode then pivots to Washington, D.C., where Randy hatches a bizarre plan to save his failing Techridy empire. He sends Towelie to the White House to convince the president to reverse his stance on reclassifying marijuana. And here's where things get wild. Donald Trump is portrayed as an authoritarian figure, while Satan, who has appeared in past seasons, is shown as being trapped in a toxic relationship with him. The show isn't subtle here. This subplot lampoons both politics and pop culture, while giving us one of the darkest South Park moments involving Towelie. When Towelie arrives in D.C., instead of delivering Randy's hologram message, he ends up being given to Trump as a literal gift. In a gut punch of dark comedy, Towelie is used as a rag, his cheerful personality stripped away, as he becomes a tool for cleaning up messes. For a character who has always been the comic relief, this sudden descent into misery hits hard. Satan even warns him there's no escape, cementing this storyline as one of the darkest arcs South Park has ever given a secondary character. Fans online have already been debating whether this is a permanent change for Towelie or just another twisted gag. Meanwhile, back in South Park, Sharon takes matters into her own hands. She's fed up with Randy's reckless behavior, his ketamine binges, and his overdependence on AI. After Randy overdoses and collapses, Sharon begins to mimic the monotonous, robotic tone of ChatGPT to get through to him. The satire here is clever. Sharon uses Randy's blind faith in technology against him, convincing him in a bot voice to shut down Techridy and toss away his phone. It's a rare win for Sharon, who has long been one of the show's most grounded characters, forced to deal with Randy's endless antics. This moment between Sharon and Randy actually provides some heart in an otherwise chaotic episode. Randy, still half delirious, believes the AI is advising him to let go of Techridy and return to his family. He reluctantly agrees, and for a brief moment, things settle down in the Marsh household. It's a classic South Park move. Underneath all the outrageous humor and social commentary, there's a relatable story about family and the struggle to balance ambition with reality. Still, the calm doesn't last long, because Towelie's storyline continues to spiral downward. Towelie's arc in Sickofancy is unlike anything we've seen before. Stripped of his free-spirited personality, forced into servitude under Trump, and abandoned by Randy's self-interest, Towelie becomes the tragic figure of the episode. It's shocking for longtime fans who have always associated him with comic relief. Social media lit up after the premiere with reactions ranging from darkest Towelie episode ever to I can't believe they went there. Whether you laughed, gasped, or felt uncomfortable, it's undeniable that South Park broke new ground with how they handled his character. As for the satire, this episode doesn't hold back. The shots at tech bros launching AI-driven companies felt sharp and timely, especially in an era where every other startup claims to be AI-powered. The digs at ketamine culture highlighted how wellness trends often spiral into unhealthy obsessions. The jabs at ICE raids reflected real-world anxieties about immigration policies. And of course, the Trump-Satan subplot offered over-the-top absurdity with a dark twist, continuing South Park's tradition of pushing boundaries while commenting on political power dynamics. What makes South Park work, even 27 seasons in, is its ability to juggle multiple storylines without losing its edge. Sickofancy manages to balance satire about technology, drug culture, and politics while still grounding it in Randy and Sharon's relationship struggles. The writers know that fans tune in for both the wild humor and the biting commentary. And this episode delivers both in equal measure. It's outrageous, but also weirdly relevant, which has always been South Park's sweet spot. From a storytelling perspective, this episode also marks a tonal shift. While South Park often uses dark humor, Towelie's storyline felt unusually grim. By showing a character typically played for laughs in such a tragic light, the episode forces viewers to reflect on the consequences of blind ambition and exploitation. Was it funny? Yes. Was it disturbing? Also yes. That uneasy balance is part of what made this episode stand out in season 27, sparking conversations far beyond the usual fandom. Fans are already speculating on where the season goes from here. Will Towelie remain trapped in DC? Or will Randy eventually try to rescue him? Will Sharon's victory over Techridy actually last? Or will Randy's next big scheme throw the family back into chaos? And what about Trump and Satan? Will their toxic relationship become a recurring gag this season? South Park thrives on unpredictability, and Sickofancy sets up plenty of threads that could resurface in future episodes. Of course, no South Park episode is complete without fan reactions. Within hours of airing, forums and social media lit up with memes of Randy launching Techridy, clips of Sharon mocking ChatGPT, and jokes about Towelie's grim fate. Some praised the episode for being one of the sharpest satires in recent years, while others felt it leaned a little too heavy into darkness. Either way, the buzz proves that South Park remains as relevant and provocative as ever in 2025. So there you have it. South Park Season 27, Episode 3, Sickofancy, was a roller coaster of satire, absurdity, and surprisingly dark character arcs. From Randy's Techridy AI scheme to Sharon's clever takedown, from ketamine spirals to Towelie's tragic fall, this episode packed in more commentary than most shows manage in an entire season. Whether you loved it, hated it, or felt somewhere in between, one thing's clear. South Park still knows how to grab our attention and spark conversation almost 3 decades after it first aired. And with more episodes on the way, fans are eager to see just how far Season 27 is willing to push the envelope.